Well, it's the Monday, the 14th of April, 2014. Good morning, Finger Lakes. This is the Dog here on Weber this week. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Enjoy today. It's going to get near 80, baby. But then tomorrow, Tuesday, high of 42. Then Wednesday, high of 38. Welcome to spring in the Finger Lakes. It's great to be with you on a Monday morning. Hope you all had a nice weekend. Well, if you're into golf, get it out today, baby, because the next couple of days are going to be a little brutal. Then it's supposed to get back in the high 50s, low 60s later in the week. But it is what it is, and we're getting kind of used to it. It was kind of nice to be out golfing yesterday when actually you could wear shorts. The dogs got shorts on this morning. Thank God Jimmy only does the headshots on these shows. Well, for the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've been promoting this show this morning, a special show. Young Chelsea Steinrucker Jr. at Waterloo has ambitions to become a sportscaster like Madison Hillmeyer did, who goes to Miners Academy. We had Madison on months ago to do a duet with the dog. We were promoting the fact that Chelsea would be on the couch this morning. We were entitling the show, The Beauty and the Beast. The Beast is here. No beauty. Why? Stomach bug. You can all relate to that. I'm sure members of your family have had that sickness, and it's just horrible. And she came down with it, I believe, a couple of days ago. And she's really got to be sick because I didn't hear back from her this morning about whether she was feeling better or not. So from all of us, Jimmy, myself, we wish her a speedy recovery. We are sorry for not having her here today. And, of course, this is her first day of spring break. And, by the way, happy spring break to all you kids out there taking time off this week, got the week off. Hope you're going out of town or just sleeping till noon, which kids do, I guess, in high school levels. So enjoy your week and enjoy your day. I feel bad for Chelsea because we're looking forward to doing a duet. I'm going to extend an olive branch, an invitation to her to come back when school comes out in the month of June. She'll have plenty of time to do maybe more than one of these shows. So we feel bad, and we are sorry for the inconvenience because I know a lot of you were looking forward to her. And I know, Jimmy, you were looking forward to seeing her do a show with me, and I feel bad. But you know what? You can't overcome sickness. That's just part of life, man. There's not much you can do about that. She sounded pretty bad the other day when I talked to her, and I just feel terrible. But, Chelsea, if you're checking us out, or your mom and dad are, and all your friends that were hoping to see you this morning, we wish you a speedy recovery, and I'll call you later. Well, folks, we got lots to talk about. Let's talk about, first off, let's go, before we get to the Masters, a lot to talk about the Masters Golf Tournament. Let's talk about high school basketball. It's this time of the year, which is customary in the Finger Lakes, that they announce the Fab Five and the Players of the Year. Simmons Jr., Sims Jr. up in Geneva, Jimmy. Player of the Year, not a big surprise to you. Outstanding athlete.
Well, you could give it to Player of the Year probably 4 or 5 different guys, but you can't go wrong with Sims. He led Geneva to their first sectional title since, I think, 1992. And, he started his high school career at DeSales.
Right.
And then, fortunately for Coach Brian Miller at Geneva, when DeSales closed, Sims came over, and his father was an assistant coach on that team. And, between him and Terrell Johnson, Akia Jackson, Stephen Douglas, a great team, but Sims was the standout, I think, statistically. And he was, he's a big guy who could also put it on the deck and could run the floor, could shoot the three. And I got no problem, with that selection. But there was a bunch of other guys, and they could have done it. And starting with Cam DeSanto, I think, who's
Cam DeSanto made the Fab Five. Obviously, out of Clyde Savannah, outstanding athlete, outstanding player, phenomenal career at Clyde Savannah. Cam DeSanto also made the Fab Five. Speaking of Clyde Savannah, Jermaine Bogan Jr. also made the Fab Five out of Clyde Savannah. Akia Jackson, you've always liked him, outstanding player from Geneva. And, of course, Luke Ruddy of Miners Academy also got selected as a member of the Fab Five. And, of course, the coach for the boys, no surprise, Jim, Tim Jackson of Clyde Savannah.
Yeah, undefeated regular season Wayne County title. This was the big year for Clyde, where DeSanto and Bogan and Joe Faniel is a guy who didn't make the first team, but equally important to their success. And so, you say a lot of times when a guy wins Coach of the Year, well, he had so much talent, how could he not win? But a lot of pressure when you have seniors like that who've played varsity basketball for a long time, and they delivered with a sectional title and a league title and an undefeated regular season. So, I definitely think DeSanto deserved it. Bogan, on there. Faniel also deserved it, but there's only so many slots, I guess, that you can put.
Well, I must tell
on.
you, I've been following these Fab Fives and saluting high school athletes for 40-some years, I guess, in my field of sports broadcasting. I must confess that I was shell-shocked, stunned, almost fell off a cliff. I thought, to be honest with you, one of the best athletes in Section 5 basketball came out of Newark this year, a young man named Micah Wright, who I watched. He had the athleticism, that just phenomenal player in my mind, runs the court like a speeding bullet, got a great shot, good rebounder, just outstanding athlete. He got honorable mention. And I'm never one to question coaches in their selections, but I must take exception to this one. I can't fathom in my Minders Academy mentality of mind how this young man got just honorable mention. I'll leave it at that, but my Lord, this Micah Wright to me was one of the best players I have seen in all the years I've been doing sports. This kid had talent, and to get honorable mention just to me is a shock.
It was a little surprising to see Micah Wright on there.
Amazing.
Newark was more of a team that shared the ball well, right. and they'd go 8 deep
right.
of great players. Jamie Rosser, another guy who was key to their season, but Akia Jackson really was the glue, I think, on that Geneva team. And if it was close, whether the vote would go Jackson or Wright, I guess in the semifinals or maybe it was the quarterfinals, or no, it was the semifinals of sectionals at the Big House. Batavia faced Newark, and a guy named Justice Fagan lit up Newark. They beat Newark, so then they move on to face Geneva. Right. While Akia Jackson guarded Justice Fagan the next game and shut him down.
Yep.
And a lot of Ray Sims Jr., Terrell Johnson, traditionally over the past few years have gotten a lot of the hype at Geneva. So it was nice to see Akia Jackson recognized, and I don't want to take anything away from him.
Right.
Micah Wright also deserving, but in things like this, there's only 5 slots.
But my point is, Jimmy, he drops to honorable. He doesn't even get second team.
Who was the second team?
Let's see here. That's just. I was speechless. It's very seldom am I speechless in this world, but I was definitely speechless. Second team was Rosser out of Newark. You just mentioned him. Fennell.
Yep, definitely deserving.
Terrell Johnson.
Yep.
Justin Brace out of Dundee.
Yeah, great season. Great.
And Chris Dean, North Rose Wookett.
Yeah, big Chris Dean. Those are all deserving. I think that a little bit of a slight there to Jacob Slobe. He plays at Red Creek. He's probably the best scorer in the league. He's only a junior. He'll be back next year and is my early pick for preseason player of the year next year. So, but one of the great things about covering local basketball here on Finger Lakes One is we get to see these kids and get to know them over the years of their careers. And just about everybody you mentioned has either been up in this studio or we've done one of their games. And I really enjoy watching them play and wish them best of luck. In the seniors, best of luck in the future.
And by the way, I'm not taking anything away from the people selected. I'm just making a comment from my vantage point. Opinions are like noses. We all have them. I just saw Micah Wright play, and I've seen him play more than once. And I normally don't get impressed because I've seen so many games in my lifetime. But this kid stood out to me. I just saw his athleticism. He just seemed a total grasp of how to play the game. I mean, just blew me away.
Natural athlete. He's going to play football at Maine.
Right.
A better football player than basketball player, even though he's a great basketball player. But football is his first sport. And we saw him dunk a few times this year, which is fun.
Exciting. Let's switch to the Ladies Center, Fab Five. No surprise here as well. Zoe McDonald of the undefeated state title Romulus Lady Warriors obviously made it. Mia Morrison out of Geneva, she made it. You're not going to be surprised at the Fab 2 in Waterloo, Deming and Johnson. 2 peas in a pod, baby. They're definitely Fab 5 material. And a phenomenal athlete in her own right, Ashley Vanderwall. By the way, Vanderwall and Deming co-tied the Player of the Year.
I was a little surprised. Again, not to take anything away from Lauren Deming, who's deserving, but I thought Vanderwall statistically really stood out this year. Deming missed a few games with injury, but again, same thing on the girls' side. We really got to know a lot of these kids over their careers, and Lauren and Lindsay at Waterloo had as good a career, as you could hope for in high school, and wish them the best of luck too.
And Friends of Finger Lakes won Tim Jackson, Coach of the Year, Clyde Savannah. No surprise.
Yep.
And of course, no major surprise with the ladies. Who do you think? Damon, my man, Damon Nicholson.
Yeah.
Leading the Lady Warriors to a state title, which doesn't happen that often. And congratulations to all the people that got recognized. And again, thank you very much for an exciting season. And Jimmy, before we move on out of high school basketball, you being the owner of FingerLakes1.com, you have gotten myself and Dave Barnick and Brendan Harrington and a bunch of people to do some games for you and this operation. Your thoughts on the past season? I know you sent out a report to us about viewership. Were you happy with the response?
Yeah, between our high school games, our high school podcast, and the Syracuse podcast, which we kind of packaged for sponsors as a winter basketball package, over 40,000 views and downloads. I can't remember. We average probably about 200 to 250 live viewers a game.
Nice.
The games we did at the Rochester War Memorial were much higher live. They were 400 or 500 people check those out live. And then after the fact, thousands and thousands of people viewed them. And so we want to get better for next year. We want to bring in more equipment and improve our quality of our broadcast. Hopefully go to HD next year as the technology improves and the internet connections at all these locations improve.
Yep.
And definitely excited for next year. It's a lot of work, but it's a great way to spend the winter watching a lot of local high school basketball.
Well, I know your wife sees you at the beginning of the season and then sees you at the end of the season about a few months later, right?
Yeah, and then it's time to golf in the summer. So
that's right. Thank you for all viewing of these games. I was excited to get back into it and do it. I did a couple games this year. I'm looking forward next year to maybe doing a few more. So it really got my blood pumping again because I didn't do it 2 years ago, but I had a real good time doing it this year. And I did promise the folks out in Romulus. So, hey, you sponsor out in Romulus, get ready. Get your checkbooks ready because we're going to be knocking down your doors. We want to come out to Romulus next year and do a couple of those Lady Warrior games, the defending state title. So check that out. I promised them at our banquet that we had that we would consider coming out to Romulus. They just need a little sponsorship money. We'll talk to you in several months down the road. Well, this is Weber this week, and again, if you're looking for the beauty and the beast, you got the beast, not the beauty. Chelsea Steinruck Jr. Waterloo, just to recap, was scheduled to be on this morning. I've been promoting it for weeks. And, with things when you promote certain guests to come on the show every week and to sit on the couch, the famous couch, things happen. Like people get sick. And poor Chelsea came down with a stomach bug. And I don't need to relate to you from a doctor standpoint because I'm certainly not a doctor. But that's an ugly cause. And you really, you're bedridden and you really got some issues. So we got to tell you, she's home resting. She's got to be pretty sick because I didn't even talk to her this morning. I tried getting a hold of her. So hopefully she's still sleeping, but we will get her back when school gets out in June. She'll have a lot of free time, and we'll definitely book her for 1 or 2 shows during the summer break. So that's an update on our guest who's not here this morning, and we do apologize for that. But, again, we can't control, obviously, when people get sick, and I feel bad about that because I've been there. Jim's been there. We all been there with that major flu and that major bug situation that floats around the area. Hey, we got lots to talk about, but it's a good time to take our commercial break. Heck, it's 15 minutes. We've already blown that. Let's talk Masters. Does Ben Crenshaw really need to come back next year to play the Masters? The guy's 25 over par after 2 rounds. I know he's a legend. I know he got on his knees crying the year he won. But come on, folks, 25 over? You might as well have Brad Jones tee it up there. We'll be back with more. Eagle Lake National Bank. Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora. A fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. VA Liquor, Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her great team will find that right spirit for you every time. Tell Amy the dog sent you. Steve Wadhams, Wadhams Enterprises, your employer of choice. Proud supporter of this show and local athletics. Bob and Leslie Oman, owners of the Oman Theater in Lyons, as well as the Newark Pilots, a minor league baseball team with a major league ballpark. Lizard's Tailgater Lounge, Waterloo, best mott sticks around where you can enjoy a drink and some laughs. SenecaFallsCountryClub.com, awesome 18-hole layout offering a 12-month payment plan. home of the toughest par 4 in central New York. Wilson Press, wpress.com. Seneca Falls, Rich Ricky, my good friend, and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Rich Ricky, Wilson Press, a fine sponsor of Weber This Week. And we want to thank our great sponsors to make this show possible. And it's always great to have many people stay with you for years and years and years. And I've told you many times, I am very blessed to have had sponsors ever since I went on radio in 1970. And believe it or not, there are two sponsors that I would love to spotlight, and I continue to tell you about it. How many people can sit on this couch and tell you that they've been with me for over 30 years? Wow. Padula's Liquor and the banker, Cayuga Lake National Bank. Mr. and Mrs. Padula, who used to run the business, were on my show when I did radio. Amy has been on for years, and that's just phenomenal support.
It's great support, but it's also a testament to what great businesses they are.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Anybody that can run a successful business for 30 years.
That's pretty scary, and I just can't say enough, and I want to spotlight Amy because these folks don't get enough credit from me. And Billy Ryan has been with me, golly, over 30 years. Him and me hooked up as friends way back when. When I was involved in radio, I asked him to come on on my show as a sponsor. He jumped at the chance. And it's not like people are lining up over there to do banking because they see my show, but Billy is a great sports fan, great SU fan, phenomenal Syracuse supporter, and just want to say thank you to Bill Ryan, Cayuga Lake National Bank, and also to Amy Padula as I spotlight those two because they've been with me for over 30 years, and that's hard to do in this business. But again, if you'd like to come on the show as a sponsor, I don't say this often enough, it's not that expensive to be a part of this program. If you would like to be a sponsor, just send us an email, and Jim or myself can get back to you and let you know the price ranges, and we'd love to have you on. And there's always room for a couple more, right, Jim?
Sure, yeah.
So, again, if you'd like to sponsor the show, let us know. We'd love to have you. Mike O'Brien up there in Waterloo, the old barber that was in here the other day, a couple weeks ago, he's a legend. He's considering coming on, so hopefully we can announce that soon on this program. Okay, Jimbo, Masters Golf Tournament. I had a very successful weekend. A lot of side wagers with friends of mine and certain clubs that I'm a member of. Bubba Watson, you've talked about it. Some people are long. Some people, Jimmy, are scary long, and some people are freaky long, and that guy is in the class of freaky. I would like to throw out this, and I told Jim before we went on the air, name me a professional golfer, including Tiger Woods, that has hit a gap wedge, not a regular wedge, a gap wedge on 13 to par 5. Second shot. I mean, come on, folks. I mean, you can't make stuff up. Jim, you play golf, and you play a high level of golf compared to me. How does somebody hit a gap wedge to a par 5? That's scary.
Well, I think, you really got to see how long Bubba was when he would hit a drive, and then Spieth would hit a drive, and then they'd show him, and they'd be 40 yards apart.
Oh, yeah, amazing.
And it's not like Spieth is a short hitter.
No.
And Bubba just cranks it up, hits a high fade. He hits a fade, too. Usually big ball hitters draw it, get a little extra roll, but he hits a high fade. Some of those drives, he's not even getting much roll on.
Amazing.
And it's on that particular course, if you're left-handed and that long, you're tough to beat.
Yep.
But he also complements that length with a great putting stroke and a great short game, and obviously a very emotional.
Yeah, very.
When he won, he just breaks down, and I'm not a huge Bubba Watson fan, but he's a deserving champion without a doubt.
And by the way, folks, we almost had history yesterday. Jordan Spieth, age 20, would have been the youngest person ever to win the Masters. Let's recap. If you were out of the country yesterday or you were at a party that your wife dragged you to with no TV, that won't happen with a dog. But if you were unable to watch the Masters yesterday, Jordan Spieth has a 3-shot lead going to the 8th hole. Okay? If you missed it yesterday, let me recap. 3-shot lead. He was 8 under. The next guy was 5, Bubba and Blixt. He goes to the 8th hole, normally a reachable par 5. Pretty easy up the hill. Jordan, for some reason, hits 3-wood off the tee, which surprised a lot of people. I was surprised. And Jordan's driver sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Kind of reminds me of myself. But all of a sudden, he whacks his second shot way right of the green. But the pin is tucked left side. 80% of professionals will get that up and down. To them, it's a piece of cake. They put that spin on the ball, Jimmy, to make a check 5-6 feet away, tap in birdie. He hits it 25 feet on his third shot, 3-jacks it from 25 feet, okay? He has a 3-shot lead going to number 8. Youngest player ever to win the Masters. Bogey. Goes to 9 from the middle of the fairway. False front. Pin cut up left over the mound. Greg Norman. Remember Greg? Biggest problem. You'd never want to leave it short. You want to get it above that slope, Jimbo, as you know, or it's coming down the false front. Very tough chip up that hill. Because you don't want to get above the flag there because you move the ball, your putter, about that long. What's he do? From the middle of the fairway, a wedge, hits the false front, rolls back, leaves himself a 5-footer down the hill. Good night, Irene. Bogey, bogey. I loved it on 10. He hits it right down the middle, right to left down the hill. He comes out of his second shot, puts it in a bunker. The pin's way back left, a tough pin position on number 10. Makes a miraculous up and down on 10. And I loved it, too, because those green jackets, the one that runs the Masters, Jordan shows his emotions. I mean, you can see it. How many times did he hold the driver above on his shoulder, Jimmy? That was getting a look.
You know,
oh, man, he's really emotional. But how about number 10 when he hit his second shot into the trap? He was heading toward the trap. He slams his club on the ground. Hey, this is like where the Pope walks. You don't slam your club down at Augusta. And I laughed when I saw him. I said, oh, boy. I bet Billy Payne, the chairman, might bring that kid aside and say, we don't do that here at Augusta.
Well, that's what I was watching.
My point is, Jimmy, he had a legitimate chance. You take 8 and 9 out of the equation, you go birdie par in 8 and 9, he's got a 3-shot lead going to the back 9.
But as I'm watching it, and I'm watching his mannerisms,
Yep.
I'm watching his temper, I guess. And,
He has a temper.
You know, I said to myself, he's going to implode.
Yep.
You know, young guy.
Right.
Wouldn't have been a surprise.
Yep.
You know. But I was impressed that he held it together
Yep.
on the back 9.
Yes.
And you know, I think he finished in second, right?
5, tied for second with Blixt.
And
how about 12? He waters it on 12.
Yeah, another youthful mistake,
Boom.
shooting at that pin. When
Exactly.
that pin's right on 12, you
Bingo.
want to hit to the middle of the green and take
Exactly.
your par and then
Move on.
And you know, that's the stuff he'll learn. His post round interview on CBS really impressed me with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, you got to control your emotions a little bit. Let's look at Bubba Watson.
Yeah.
You know, he was obviously had tons of emotions because he broke down as soon as he made that last putt. But
sure.
during the round, he just goes about his business. Don't get too high.
Yeah.
Don't get too low. And also impressed yesterday with Miguel and Angel Jimenez.
50 years old.
Yeah, and he really had a chance to put a little pressure on
Yep.
Bubba Watson coming home. Missed a birdie putt on 17. But that was something that stuck out to me. But the other thing that stuck out to me from the Masters was, come on, guys, play a little better. Let's put some pressure on Bubba. I don't think anybody really
made a move,
rose to the occasion. Even Watson, as good as he played, didn't play great.
Right.
He just played good enough because nobody else stepped up to challenge him. My pick was Matt Kuchar.
He blew it on 4.
And he was right in it.
He doubled that par 3.
Yeah, and then
he 4-jacked it.
You know, he hit it in the water on 13 in the creek, but it ended up not being in the creek. He got to play out of there, but you know, I thought he was going to step up and come through. But
how about 4-jacking number 4?
Yeah,
the par 3. He
and
4-jacks
Ricky Fowler's another one. You
Yep.
thought this might be Ricky Fowler's year. The second hole of the day, he 3 putts from you know, lips out from short, misses a 2-footer.
Yeah, he's got a 6-footer for birdie and he ends up bogeying.
Yeah, and so that's tough to recover from mentally.
It was, I liked the Masters. Of course, I did well.
I love it
Financially. I love watching it. And I got to tell you something, folks. I mentioned Ben Crenshaw. Come on, folks. Stadler's done playing there. Ben, I love you, Ben. I do like Ben Crenshaw. I love
Gentle Ben. Sure.
I love his pure stroke with a putter. But, ladies and gentlemen, hello. He's out there whacking it 25 over after 2 rounds. 25 over. I mean, why put him on the course to be a competitor? Let him play the par 3.
Well, it's his choice. He's a past champion. So when
But
he
Jimmy,
decides,
you might as well have Brad Jones go down there and shoot 140. What's the difference?
Well, Brad Jones has never won a Masters before, so that's one of the special things about winning. that's one of the special things about winning the Masters is you now can come back. You go to the Champions Dinner.
Yeah.
You can play.
All
Now,
right.
I think a lot of these guys, they know when it's time. Arnie played well. He had some rounds like that. Just Jack didn't really have any big blow-up rounds like that. He kind of knew when it was time to step aside. But remember Miller Barber used to play.
Mr. X.
Yeah, and so it's one of the fun things, and I think as long as they're not affecting the play, you know, slow by taking so many shots that they're slowing up play, it's their prerogative to do it.
All right, but a couple other comments on the Masters, folks. I got to laugh. And I love Arnie Palmer. I love Jack, and I love Gary Player. And I know they have the ceremonial first tee shot on Thursday morning at 7:40. I get it. I'm no Rhodes Scholar. I'm a Miners graduate, 63, average 63. I understand that. But ladies and gentlemen, do we have to see that 23 times from Thursday morning, Jimmy, to Sunday night? Do we have to see that replay 23? I counted it. 23 times. Here they come. Folks, all right. They hit the first tee shot. Give it. I agree, Jim. That's ceremonial. They should do it every year.
Great seeing them together.
But 23 times, and they have to replay it 23 times?
Well, I think I don't like it because it comes at the expense of live action. We didn't see a lot of tee shots at 12 yesterday.
I agree.
We didn't see.
And by the way, Jimmy, you're right. If you're not in the hunt, you don't get any coverage on that CBS.
No.
Zero.
Right.
If you're not a top 5 or 6 golfers, you'll never see your player. And the other thing that irritates me, I love Jim Nantz. Do we have to open up Sunday's coverage or Saturday's coverage with Nick Faldo in the Butler cabin for 12 minutes saying, what's he saying? Show the action. I'm not anti-Nick Faldo. Nick Faldo's a superb golfer. Guy's got a lot of class. But why spend 12 minutes, and I counted it, 12 minutes, listening to Nick Faldo tell us about what he thinks is going to happen? How about doing something novel? Show us.
Show us what's going on.
Amazing. I cannot believe CBS does that.
I think it's partly the Augusta National, too. The Masters, they want their event covered a certain way for years.
You're right.
They wouldn't let you show any front nine coverage.
That's true.
And so that ended after a while.
No, you're right.
But you turn on the Masters, and they wouldn't show anybody on the front nine. So
you're right.
You'd only see from 10 on.
Yeah.
So they do things different there at Augusta.
Well, I hope you had a good time watching the tournament. And now we are at 10 o'clock. It's hard to believe our time is up. Hey, again, we're sorry about Chelsea not being here today. Chelsea Steinruck not showing up, obviously. She's ill. We wish her a speedy recovery. I will call her later to see how she's doing. I'll give you a report as soon as I find out. We're going to move to the world of politics and Indian affairs the next 2 shows. We're going to switch from the Masters, and we're going to talk to Emil Bovey, my longtime friend, who's a key factor on the Seneca Falls Town Board. A lot of issues involving the town board. Number one issue, obviously, is will they take the $2.5 million from the reserve fund and build a new town hall? That seems to be the hot topic here in the town of Seneca Falls. Some people say, not so fast, Lee Corso. Not so fast. A referendum, going to have a vote, all that stuff. Emil Bovey, that'll be the hot topic, but there'll be other discussable items, too. Emil will be on the couch next week. The following week, Cayuga Indian Nation, back taxes, the money coming from the state to help us here because of what we've had to pay for taxes and the different issues for the county, etc. Brad Jones will give us an update report on his feelings and his data as far as the Cayuga Indians' continuing litigation with Seneca County and, for that matter, Cayuga County. Those are our next 2-week shows. So
before we go, Doug, what did you shoot this weekend? On yesterday, you played some golf. I saw you down there.
Yeah, I didn't shoot bad. I played okay. Hit some good shots. I got nailed yesterday by Mr. Jones and Mr. King. They took me over the coals. It was good to get out.
Remember what you shot? Was it?
I'm going to say probably. See, we play from the gold tees, Jimmy. We're old.
Oh, geez, you guys aren't that old.
Yeah, we are. I'll be 69 2 weeks from tomorrow, baby. That's old.
Well, you don't. You guys don't look that old out there. You look like you still be hitting from the whites. But hey, whatever works for you.
But anyways,
know?
We have fun.
I know that you maybe Ben Crenshaw should play from the Yellows at Augusta.
My biggest fear is losing money to Brad Jones because you never hear the end of it.
He got some of it yesterday.
He got some of it yesterday, but don't you worry. I got a lot of it home back in the old underneath the bed, so don't you worry. A lot of that Jones money. By the way, speaking of Brad Jones, we pick on him a lot in this show. Tomorrow, Jimmy, is his birthday.
Good.
My mom's, who's in heaven, we lost her in September. Her birthday is April 15th as well. So, Brad Jones, happy birthday. He was asking for, hinting to myself and John King about buying him a present. The present is Brad. Happy birthday.
I can get his taxes in tomorrow's or the 15th is tax day too.
That's right. Well, folks, we hope you enjoyed our chitter chatter this morning. We have always a lot of fun talking to you and having a good time on this show. And again, join us next week. We turn our attention to the Seneca Falls Town Board. Emil Bovee, a lot of hot issues involving the town. You don't want to miss it. Take care, everybody. That's a look at Weber this week. My way.
By becoming a patron of FingerLakes1.com. Visit patreon.com/FL1.
FingerLakes1.com.